So in that other model, okay, so what you will have, yeah, this other, yeah, so in the first model, we were, this first model was relying on the correlation functionality being provided by the OSP, right? Now, the only other way to implement the request response, without, let's say, without facing problems with the disadvantage, then you will have to just implement in a hardwired way, which is you will have like a business service which will put the request in the request queue, and then you will have a proxy service which will pick up that message, and then you will create another business service on this side, so that it will put the message in the response queue, and then here you will have another proxy service on this side in order to receive the response. Now, when you implement it this way, uh, here you are not using the correlation, any correlation functionality, right? I mean, in the sense that from an OSP perspective, I mean, you can still, send your unique IDs and as part of the messages and stuff, but still, you are not, and that disadvantage is gone. And this is one other way of implementing the request response pattern. Okay. Yeah. So the business service puts in the message in the request queue, and the proxy, yes, that proxy service will pick up that message. Yeah, here there is no synchronous. Here there is no synchronous thing going on. So one business service put the message into the request queue, and that was picked up by some proxy service, right? And then now, since the reply needs to be sent out, let's say that proxy service which picked up the message, let's give it a name, right? Let's call it like P1. Okay. So P1 will, in its message flow, let's say it did all this processing, and then it may use, like B2, calling this B1, and let's call this B2. Okay. So proxy one might, let's say, do all the processing, and then ultimately it might invoke B2, so that it can put the message in the response queue. Okay. And then here you just have a proxy service which is like receiving messages from the queue and then processing it. I'm sorry. No. There is no connection between the proxy and business. Okay, it is just well, actually, let me take that back. Actually, you can link, in order to implement like an asynchronous messaging style, you can link a business service with a proxy service too. Okay. So when the response is when the response is received, then at that time, the business service just let know of the response. Okay, so but we will be implementing that asynchronous model in our message pattern. So we will get to that. But I mean, if needed, here those two can be linked that way. Yeah, in asynchronous conversation, you can OSB provides a way for in order to link a business and a proxy service, right? So business service, let's say, made the call, and then now it is asynchronously waiting for some response, right? Once the response is received by some proxy service, uh, so that that response is directed back to this business service. It provides a provision where you can link a business service and a proxy service. Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I mean, essentially, see, proxy is receiving the message, then a proxy would anyhow have to call a business service, right? But yeah, but here, you configure such that, I mean, when we implement, it might be a little confusing, but when we implement that, it will get clear, okay? It is a very simple thing, in the business service, you will have a provision for picking up a proxy service, okay? Essentially, when you pick up a proxy service for a given business service, whenever that proxy service, whatever message is received, after it has processed that message, the output will just go to the business service. Okay. And okay, let me put another slide here. Okay. Now, okay, let's think. This is the business service, right? B1. Okay. Business service, and this one, B1 is invoking a P1. Okay. So let's say this is a one-way invoke. Okay, because we are implementing the asynchronous model, right? And now let's say the response is sent to another. Let's say this is another proxy service, P1, P2. Now, see, P1 received the request, like B1 sent the request to P1. Okay, and then let's say P1 is, after it has done processing the message through another business service, B2, right? B2, it can invoke P2, right? You guys with me? It could be a little confusing unless we do it in a little more, because see, once a proxy service is configured, proxy service is nothing but an endpoint, right? You guys with me? So when configuring a business service for an external service, that external service could be a real external service, or it could be another proxy service.